Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, before we get into today's video though, I want to give a big shout out to the channel's Patreons for making this video and all other ship reviews possible. The generous donation from these Patreons help fund the channel and fund ship reviews. I am not a CC nor supported by Wargaming in any way, shape, or form, so these generous Patreons make these types of videos possible for the channel. Patreon is the best place to support the channel besides just watching the videos and streams. So again, big shout out to those guys. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really, really appreciate it. So speaking of streams real quick, didn't have a stream last night. My internet has been like absolute dog crap recently. Any of the lag spikes you see in this video, it's actually not the servers for once, it's my internet. I don't know what's going on. Called them, they say everything's fine. Everything is not fine. But down here, I really don't have too many choices for internet. So, yeah, we're kind of stuck in that situation. I do apologize for that. Once it gets sorted out, I'll try to do some makeup streams if possible. But anyway, guys, today, I have finally managed to pick up the Tier 10 Freemium French Battleship, the Bourgogne. I am so excited to finally get my greedy little hands on this ship. The Bourgogne came out quite some time ago, and she's always been the next steel ship I was planning on getting, but then a new one comes out. And literally by the time I have enough steel to get the Bourgogne finally, I gotta get the new steel ship in order to review it for the channel. So, yeah, it's been a while trying to get this ship, and boy, oh boy, she does not disappoint. This is a ship that lives up to the hype that you've heard about the Bourgogne. Well, the hype that you heard about it in general. There's been several ships that I've gotten after either not buying them for some time or some like rare ships that get hyped through the roof. And then I get them, I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, it's good, but it's not that good. Bourgogne is that good. And wow. Now, I unfortunately didn't have too many wins playing this ship tonight because it's patch week. And patch week, of course, is, well, patch week when it comes to trying to win battles. But man, we had some absolutely just rock solid performance out of the ship, and some pretty darn good moments in this ship as well throughout the night. I believe you guys are probably going to be watching my actual first match in the ship, which was the most entertaining one of the evening. The other ones were typical tier 10 battles. Ship stayed 18 kilometers plus away from each other, and we kind of just sat there and stared at each other for 10-15 minutes. But this ship is amazing. It just takes the Alsace, and it's just kind of a supercharged Alsace in most respects. It has 0.2 more Sigma than the Alsace. Alsace has 1.6 Sigma. The Bourgogne here has 1.8 Sigma. So that means that your French 15-inch guns are a little bit more accurate. And that's really all you need to do to the Alsace to get rock-solid performance out of these guns. And it does have the French 15-inch AP. They are, of course, screaming out of the barrels because they are the French guns for some reason in the game. The French get some of the fastest shells. They have a top speed of 130 meters a second, leaving the barrels. Despite the barrels actually looking fairly short, it is kind of fun looking at the barrels. They do look kind of stubby, but game is game. Magic cordite powder, I guess. I don't know if the French actually had, hypervelocity guns in real life, or whatever. But of course, the Bourgogne and the Alsace were never built. I believe they were plans, but they never got around to actually building these ships in real life. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's go ahead and go through the Bourgogne's stats here and talk a little bit about each stat as I go through it. So, the armor, it's the Alsace. It's 32 millimeters everywhere. Very, very French battleship. And that does, of course, mean that you're going to be mauled by HE at Tier 10, because by the time you get to Tier 10, most HE spammy ships either have the baked-in pin values on their HE shells, or with IFHE can pin 32 millimeters of armor, so you are going to need a lot of damage from HE there. Again, the rest of the armor, it's Alsace. It does have that turtleback armor with a 350 millimeter main armor belt thickness. And then once you take that armor away, her citadel is just a little bit above the waterline, but it is covered by that main battery belt. So that main armor belt, oh my god, Sealord. So it's difficult to citadel, but definitely not hard to chunk, especially when seeing HE, especially like with British BB HE, the British Cruiser HE, Japanese HE, so forth, and so on. So easily farmable down by HE by of course, tier 10 standards, and that is to be expected with anything French. In terms of survivability, she has 74,700 HP, which again is, well, very Alsace because it is. It's the exact same amount of HP that you get on the Alsace. So yes, you do have tier 9 battleships level of health at tier 10. Couple that with the HE spam that you're going to encounter. That does bring the ship's survivability down a bit. But, I mean, if you've been playing a lot of Alsace, you've already been having to face this because you're at tier 9. You're going to be in pretty much tier 10 games and super ship games constantly anyway. So, yeah, but it is a tier 10 ship, so it does take up a tier 10 battleship slot, so you are losing a bit of tankiness there in that regards. Alright, onto those guns I was so eager to talk about. So she does come equipped with 3x4 15-inch guns, French 15-inch guns, which have a base reload time of 28 seconds, 27 seconds, and once you slap the module in there, you get it down to 24.6 seconds. That sounds fantastic. On 12 guns, too. On 12 actually accurate guns, like I was saying in the intro section. You do have a maximum range of 24.8 kilometers baked in, which is why it's so easy to just slot in the reload module there. Maximum dispersion at those 24.8 kilometers is 287 meters. For the HE, it does a max damage of 5,400, and you have a 36% chance of causing a fire on the target with 63 millimeters of HE pin. And both the AP and the HE, like I said, come out the tubes at 830 meters a second. For the AP, you will be doing a maximum damage of 11,900 on the Citadel hits. For the secondary guns, you get 8x2 127s, and then you get the 3x3 152s. This is not the ship that builds secondaries into. This is very much a main battery ship. If you want to build secondaries on the Alsace or the Bourgogne, just get the Alsace. She has more secondaries, but I wouldn't recommend building into the secondaries on the Alsace anyway, because the French completely forgot how to armor their secondaries. So you eat one good round of like Conqueror HE, and then all your secondary guns on that side are dead. Only really the Germans have the armor to withstand continuous HE bombardment for any reasonable amount of time. Again, the other navies just forgot to put armor on their secondary guns, it seems. And these guns are so sweet, y'all. Like, it's so refreshing to play what is essentially Alsace, but with the ability to actually hit stuff. Now, as you can tell by the salvos, dispersion can still screw you over pretty quickly, but you have, again, that 24-second reload time, and then you have the gimmick to back you up there. But even without either of those things, the guns are just more accurate than the Alsace. So it's just so refreshing to be able to hit what you're aiming at in, again, what is in Alsace with those 15-inch guns. French 15-inch guns slap. They hit much harder than they have any right to. They hit, like, again, 16, 17-inch guns, I would say, at least. Especially if you catch a nice, juicy target broadside, like a German battleship, or any battleship that you catch broadside, and you can just get a decent roll of the RNG dice and get decent dispersion. You're chunking them for, like, 17, 18, 19k easily. And then on the stuff that you can Citadels, like heavily armored cruisers or cruisers that angle to you, because again it does have that hypervelocity French AP, you'll be overpinning a lot of cruisers that sail flat onto you. But once you run across the cruisers that are either angled to you or the heavy cruisers and you bite, oh my god, this thing will slap them out of existence. It is fantastic. Alright, airstrike, she doesn't come equipped with the, the standard tier 10 battleship airstrike for dealing with submarines. AA, she has an A rating of 88. I never found the AA to be lacking or super fearsome. I did get one clear sky achievement when playing the Bourgogne for this video, but it was against a Hakuru that really liked to just fly perfectly straight. So I'm not really saying it's an AA ship, but the French ships have better-ish AA than the other battleships, but again, definitely not an AA built by any stretch of the imagination. Maneuverability, the ship goes 33.6 knots base. She has a turning circle radius of 910 meters and a rudder shift time of 16.6 seconds. We'll come back to the speed here in a moment. Consistent with the commander module build, you get this thing down to 13.2 kilometers, which is very nice. Now on to the Box O gimmicks. So the Bourgogne has an additional gimmick to the Alsace engine boost. She still gets that 15% engine boost that's active for 180 seconds. The reload is 85.5 seconds. But she also gets the main battery reload booster, which is amazing. So now, if you've been following along, you can build into your main battery guns, get the reload down to 24 seconds and change. And then, when you have those broadsides, you can pop reload booster and give, well, depending upon where you're at in terms of like your adrenaline rush and it's just adrenaline rush because adrenaline rush, or if you've somehow gotten a devastating strike, which why am I saying somehow? If you get a death strike and you have Abignon on, good lord, this thing becomes a DPM powerhouse at that point. But again, depending upon how many buffs you have going, you can potentially get three quick salvos out of the ship if you time the reload boost right, and if your AR is down low enough. But with the reload module on and without any AR boost, you'll have a 12-second reload time of the ship. So all you really gotta do to get 3 quick salvos out is just eat a little bit more damage, which this ship will do, because remember, she's coated in 32 millimeters of armor, so you're gonna get plenty of damage. You're gonna get chewed up by HE, but you're gonna have an absolutely just methed out gun crew inside your turrets, shoving in 15-inch shells in like 10 seconds with this ship, with this AP, with this accuracy as well. Now, the reload booster also allows you to, of course, start plenty of fires. You do have 15-inch guns, which are very small by tier 10 standards. You don't have a SAP like the Christopher Columbus does, but you have HE, and you already have a pretty quick reload time for Battleship base, and you have 12 guns. So if you can get all 12 guns on target and get slinging your HE, you're probably going to set a fire before too long. Then what you do is you wait for them to pop Damage Con, wait for Damage Con to run its course. You can tell that by either looking at the ship, you see the flashing lights, or looking at your damage counter in the top right corner of your screen. And once either the flashing lights go off or you stop receiving damage, that means that they've Damage Con the fire. And once you do that, pop Reload Booster, get 2 more salvos in their face, and get 2 or 3 fires on their ship, just like that. And that's how you deal with ships that are trying to bow tank you. So, you have in this ship great AP that hits well above its weight class, HE that's more than capable of burning ships down on a ship that can actually hit what it's aiming at. And then, on top of that too, it's very maneuverable. Her top speed without I do have the speed flag on when I was reading that off, so that is with the speed flag. Her top speed without an engine boost is 33 knots. Pop engine boost, and you're pushing close to 40 knots in this ship, with a 13.2 kilometer concealment range as well. Which means this ship is great for finding a hole in the enemy team's flank and rushing down it and catching those broadsides that the enemy team is giving to you. And then you have French 15-inch guns with a reload booster and the enemy team's broadsides, and that's where you just absolutely rake in the damage. And even if you're not in that case too, like I just said, with the HE, you can easily just burn down ships that are trying to bow tank you. This ship is great as an off-flank kiter. Doesn't really have the HP to be too much of a pusher. I mean, she can push, don't get me wrong. Absolutely, the ship can get in close and push, but obviously she's not as good at doing that as other Tier 10 battleships due to her armor, again, being, absolutely coated in 32 and having Tier 9 battleships level of HP. The only ships that are probably worse tankers than her at Tier 10 is, like, the Slava with its 25mm bow. And, again, I would say even the battle cruisers are better tankers because, like with the St. Vincent, you have the Superheel, and with the Schlieffen, you have the 60mm icebreaker bow, and the fact that Schlieffen is just absolutely bristling with guns, so anything that gets close to it just gets absolutely melted down. So this ship is fantastic in my mind. This is absolutely one of the best ships in the game. She is a free ship. She's a still ship, so it does take quite some time to get to her, but it's doable if you're in a clan or if you play a lot of ranked. If you're not in either of those, you can get there. It's going to take forever. You just got to commit to playing some ranked or, buying through a dockyard or two will eventually get you this ship. I wouldn't recommend that because that's going to cost you like $300 right there. But, just play some ranked, put your nose down, grind through ranked, and you can get this ship. As far as still ships, I think this is absolutely one of the best still ships in the game. In terms of like effectiveness and just being a good ship, I would say this is probably the best still ship for that, up there with like Stalingrad. The only one that I would say would come close to challenging this one would be Stalingrad. A lot of the other still ships for me, like the Shikishima and the Incomparable, they're fun ships to play. They're goofy ships with goofy designs and goofy big guns, and the Incomparable is just absolutely, dumb in my mind. It's nothing but dumb fun. But in terms of like an effective battleship that, you know, you want a set of guns that is going to, for the most part, go where you aim, and you like the Alsace, which many a player do, this is absolutely the first steel ship that you should get. Which is really weird hearing myself say that, because I've been saying it's Stalingrad first for the past 5 years, but I haven't played this thing. This is absolutely the first premium ship I would get. Then get Stalingrad after this one, especially if you're a French battleship fan. The ship just takes what the line is and excels it to the next level. This really is what the tier 10 should have been. Maybe like this, but maybe with 16-inch guns for the tech line tier 10, with maybe a little less accuracy. Maybe like with Alsace's accuracy, but maybe like 1.7 Sigma rather than 1.6 with 16-inch guns without the reload booster. It probably would have been the best fit for the tier 10 tech line ship, rather than Republic. Now, don't get me wrong, like I like Republic, but just looking at the way that the line flows, it's like you go from the Alsace to the Republic. I made a whole video talking about that. But anyway, guys, this is my 2 cents on the Bourgogne. Absolutely a ship that I would pick up if you have the still. If you've been going through the Puerto Rico dockyard like I've been going through, you should be pretty close to finishing. That's how we got this one. So if you're looking at getting the Bourgogne with your Puerto Rico still, or you've been saving up still looking for a still ship, this is absolutely the one I would recommend you pick up. Your PR will sink because this is, I think, the highest, the highest average stats in the game belong to this ship, because of course, you know, all the players that get enough steel are normally the competitive players. So your PR probably will drop down once you pick this one up. But hey, it's worth it. It's a great boat in my mind. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're getting very close to 40,000 subs, and I can't thank you guys once again for that. I cannot thank you guys enough once again for that. But a long day. When we get to 40K, we'll be doing a 40K giveaway like we've done with previous subscriber milestones. So make sure you subscribe and stick around for that. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.